Okay.
Sounds weird.
Ready?
Yeah, I think so.
The Built 2 Media Podcast is sponsored by QualityFreightRate.com. Use the promo code BUILT2. Get 10% off your first shipment. Sign up is easy. QualityFreightRate.com.
Hit that button.
The Built 2 Media Podcast.
Why is the button sticky, Gunner?
I don't know. Good question. Dude, it's just what I do.
Built 2. Blake, Gunner, Zach, and Ben.
I'm not doing my own intro.
And go.
I talk for a living, and that just happened.
The Built 2 Media Podcast.
To be an American.
Okay, that's enough of that.
All right, that's enough out of you, Todd.
Okay.
We got all the Todds today.
Now from the Liquid Nitro Studios, here's your host, Blake Anderson,
These shorts are too short for this chair.
Gunner Cummings,
What happened? What did I miss?
Zach Whitties,
I'm like Elon Musk taking off my rocket ship.
and the somewhat retired, but not really retired, Ben Bros.
Struggle Fest 2022.
I'll keep saying it.
Hit the button.
How about that intro there, Ben?
That was something. That's for damn sure.
Wait, was Gunner in that one?
Yeah, I heard it.
Okay, alright. I didn't
As soon as you said it, though, I'm like, wait, what?
That was pretty good. Alright, we're firing off episode 68. New intros of Ben Stop Bitchin'. His name wasn't in the intro. He even texted us today, or the other day. When am I gonna get my intro?
That wasn't the other day.
Yeah,
it was
like a 5-year-old dude.
well, yeah, I'm gonna whine a little.
Intro.
Well, yeah, I'm not gonna do my own intro.
What was my exact words? Intro, blah, blah, blah.
I believe your exact words were blah blah, scratchy voice, blah blah, Nesbitt, blah blah, Koski. Blah, blah.
Hey, speaking of the Koski boys, there's something different.
Listen, there's no disputing how the volume of things that are wrong with those three.
Absolutely.
However, they're growing into be fantastic racetrack drivers. Sometimes they need their heads knocked together, but yeah. Right.
So we did all of our recording a little bit backwards. We got episode 69, 67 done, but we had to save 68 for our buddy Mike. So we're not even really going to talk about what we've been doing. We just kind of want to get right to Mike, don't we?
Yeah.
I agree. I mean, Gunner.
Yep.
Yep. Kind of sharing the mic here a little bit for our new board, so we can only go 4 wide here, but we got 5 deep, kind of like the legendary last weekend. So
It's 5 deep in so many different ways.
coming in hot off the field, Mr. Mike Prochnow, how you doing?
Pretty good. Thanks for having me.
You bet. Yeah, we come all the way out here to Menominee, Wisconsin. Found your shop already. I mean, one of the 3 we had to check for lights, see which one was on, but
Yeah, it's kind of a zoo around here usually, but this one ice goes on a little bit. So
how many employees you got out here on the farm?
between full and part time, we're probably a dozen, 15 somewhere in there. So
Yeah, you guys are hopping.
yeah.
How much land do you guys own / cash ground?
Between own and rent, we have about 8,000.
Oh,
there.
yeah.
So then we do some cash or custom work afterwards, get it up a little higher, pay for the equipment a little easier that way.
So, just like a football field.
Yeah.
Pretty much, yeah.
8,000 square inches.
Right.
Yeah.
One time to do all that.
Yeah. A guy could just mow that down with a 21 inch. Yeah.
Okay, I'll tell a quick story about Mike. So you guys rent some ground over by my father-in-law's. And the first year they got their new planter. I think it's a 32 row.
Yep, big one, yep.
I seen that sucker fold out, and I'm like, well, that shouldn't take long. I don't know what if we were doing tillage or what, but Mike was definitely done before we were, and he had way more acreage.
Yeah, once you get that thing moving, you do a lot in a hurry, but small fields, it's not your best friend.
Oh
so.
gosh, I couldn't imagine. Like corners, how do corners work? How do you plan a swing for 32 rows at a time?
Well, normally Cedar does that planter, he'll do all the bigger fields because he spends more time turning around the small field than does planting. So we take the smaller field and do the smaller fields. So.
Oh my goodness. Can you imagine 32 rows at a time, boys?
No.
I'm definitely going long.
I barely know anything about farming, so
Yeah, he's from my side.
yeah.
You know what a row of corn looks like, right?
It's tall, has tassels, and has corn.
So we drove past a bunch of farm fields on the way here, right?
Yeah.
I said that one's Mike's. That
Right.
one's Mike's.
So picture
And I went,
one of
"Holy
those
shit."
rows of corn multiplied 32 times,
Really?
and then put a big piece of equipment on it,
Yeah.
and then try to turn it.
That's complicated.
That's why we leave it up. Yeah, that's why we leave it up to the expert over here.
So you dabble in farming and do a lot of racing, or is it the other way around?
Yeah, we used to do a lot more racing when I was younger. Now it's the farm pays for the racing, so that comes first. We probably do about a third of the racing we used to do 20 years ago. But that's what you gotta do to make everything get paid in the end.
Right.
So
You gotta work before you can play, I guess.
Yeah.
So how did it all get started for you? I mean, when? I mean, we all know that your dad basically lit the candle for you, but
yeah,
for you,
we basically I grew up around racing. My dad and uncle were always racing, and I would say they were early teens. I started racing go-karts around the shop out here, and then eventually Thunder Hill opened, and we started racing down there, and just kind of went from there. I think we took 1 year off when I was in high school from racing, and then we got from go-karts into cars in 2000. And then did street stocks for about 3 or 4 years, and was getting kind of bored. And a couple of different things about it weren't that intriguing anymore, so we decided we need to move up. And I don't really know how we decided on late models. I don't know how that jumped into the option window, if you will, becoming a super to model late model.
You went from a street stock to a late model, or did you go
Yeah.
super? Yeah. What? Wow.
So the first couple races were a little on the sketchy side, if you will, as far as what's going to happen next. So
Go from an S10 to a Duramax.
Right. That's going from a horse and buggy to a Cadillac too.
12 row to a 32 row.
There you go. What didn't you like about the street stocks that you thought moving up would change your opinion?
At that time, it was getting to be a lot of drama because in racing, there's a rule book that's got white paper and black ink. The racers that usually do good read the gray part, break the little black, and everybody does it. Let's just be honest. Whether it's a small thing here or there, or a big thing, and basically the street stock turned into drama. Everybody was
What year
arguing.
approximately are we talking?
I started racing in 2000, and we stopped in 2003 as the last year of street stock.
Okay, yeah. Yeah, you bring back some memories too. I can remember, yeah, it was all crime all the time from everybody but one.
Yeah, and then the other thing was the speed was not enough anymore as far as having, if you're gonna work on something that hard, to have that fun, if you want the speed to it. You know, and then also cutting your hands in those freaking steel bodies drove me nuts.
I don't blame you.
So you went, right to the late model, but was there any years in between there that you did jump in a modified or a super or anything?
Nope, I never drove either one of them. I mean, I drove a modified, my dad's a little bit, maybe around the shop. That was about it.
Yeah.
So,
That's interesting. I didn't know that.
Yeah, I didn't either. Now I know Larry and Ron, but I don't know which one is your dad.
so my dad's Ron,
Okay.
and then his first cousin is Larry, Rhett Ross's dad.
Yeah, okay. When I was a kid at Marshfield, anytime that number 68 showed up, it was pretty much lights out. And somebody came up to me and said, "Here's an autographed picture of Ron Prochnow," and I still have it. And it's from, I want to say like '87. And I just thought it was so cool way back then. So I've always been a fan of Ron's, and then consequently became a fan of yours too. As the generations keep moving forward. This is a heck of an enclave that we're in here. One hell of a shop. This is really nice, and I'm actually really jealous.
It's funny you bring up Marshfield. That was one of my dad's favorite tracks. He didn't have a favorite, but he always liked going in there. It's kind of a shame to stop racing dirt, but we can't change that. But no, this shop was actually about a 30 by 30 square foot back in the day. It was the first farm shop. We started adding on to it, and then late 90s we built the farm shop. This became a race and toy shop.
Okay.
So,
Well, obviously it's not quite big enough, I wouldn't think.
no, you can never have too big a shop.
Yeah, right.
I mean, you got enough room for like 2 more cars when you're ready.
Well, there used to be. We're missing one car right now, but one time we have 3 of them sitting in here.
Oh, really?
Wow.
So, turns into a bit of a mess though.
Because I mean, your normal tracks now, being in a late model, so the late model would be Menominee, and then I know you go to Superior a few times too.
Yeah, but then we get to go to Rice Lake a couple times a year. Dave's having us up there, and then we try to go to Cedar once or twice a year if it works out. We used to do it more in Minnesota, but they're not racing them out like Alexandria like they used to.
Okay.
And then Montevideo, Minnesota, we used to do it a little bit. You know, the problem is the travel time, really. So,
Right. Have you ever dabbled in like super late model stuff or just stuck with soda?
no, we used to do every Labor Day. We do it. We used to be WRL, and that was always fun. We've done a little bit of World Outlaw, but we never had an open motor, so we need to kind of pick our tracks. You're not completely outnumbered. So, but and then also the time to do it, like I said before, between the farm and crew guys being busy or family things, you're getting less time to do things. So, but it's still fun.
What's been your favorite part over the course of your career? I'm not talking wins or highlights, but what's been your favorite thing that you love that drives you in this shop to get you to the racetrack? And again, I'm not talking about wins or highlights or anything like that, but what's been your favorite part about racing so far?
Are we including trophy girls?
Yes, and yes.
No, I would say the biggest thing is something to take your frustration out that you can't get a speeding ticket for. You need something to take your mind off of work. And as long as the car comes in one piece, you're having fun, it's still fun. But there are weeks that it drives you nuts trying to get them ready to go in time.
Yeah, definitely the challenge of it all.
Oh yeah, and there's been guys over the years that we love to race against, and we try to keep in touch with each other. You know.
Oh, definitely. Yeah, I mean, the racing family is real, and the name Prochnow, within 150 miles a year, has been synonymous with racing for, hell, as long as I can remember.
Yeah, and you know, and the thing is, really, I think it's just like, to me, if you sit back in the shadows and watch it, it's no different than deer hunting or going to the weekend cabin, or whatever you want to call it. It's doing things together. It's, I mean, as a group, the friends, the people, you know, if you need a hand, somebody gets sick, you know, you're not just racing each other anymore. You know?
Right, yeah.
And especially around here, it kind of turns into a neighborhood fun fest too.
Oh yeah. And you start seeing the generations come up. You know, I remember Gunner was just a bad idea in Chad's mind. You know, when
Yeah, Mike was racing there, I think, before you were born, probably.
Yeah, probably.
What year were you born?
96.
well, we all feel older now.
Yeah, thanks, Gunner.
That's
Really?
when he was born.
Zach, where were you born? Take some guesses. 2000. Close, 2001.
Oh.
Be more accurate. You know what that means. He's gonna be 21 pretty soon. We're having a party. Bill 2 crew party bus.
Oh my, that's
Hey,
it.
that's a real thing, so I mean,
That-
contact us if you want it.
Right, yeah,
We're actually getting a bus, it's a real thing.
nice. Oh, that makes me so happy. Getting back to our guest.
Are you going on or what?
What, on his party?
Yeah.
Of course, why wouldn't I?
That's gonna be fun.
Yeah, why
We should
wouldn't-
just lock a mic in the bus.
You gotta have a chaperone, don't you?
Wow, that's.
That's what
I don't drink, so.
You don't have to drink to make that decision. I know that.
That's definitely true.
So we talked about how much basically the fun and the challenge racing is. What's been your favorite win? We'll just get this stuff out of the way.
I really can't say. I guess the three that pop out of my mind are, we had an invitational win in like 2008 in Deer Creek Speedway, and what really meant a lot about that is you're just comfortable with the car that night. Everything came out right, everything worked really nice, and we were had a kind of a long weekend, but I mean it paid off in the end. Another one was we were in Superior back in 2000.
The Nationals?
Yeah,
2015, according to your race pass.
and that was, I knew I was out of ways, and I'm like, at this point, let's just see how far out we can get, because again, the car was perfect, crew did a great job, and you couldn't ask for a nicer racetrack. Because that's when if you go to a place and the racetrack's bad, the car gets wrecked, or somebody's having a bad day, it's not fun. You need all those things to connect and make it really worthwhile.
Yeah, and the paycheck doesn't help at the end of the night, or it doesn't hurt at the end of the night.
It usually helps a little bit.
Yeah. Now, looking behind me here, looking at that no power engine, we talked a little bit about that prior to us recording here. What decided you to go with the sleeper setup?
Basically, I bought our first car. I was running an Adams motor in the street stock, and we actually still have an Adams motor for a spare. But Jimmy and Chris Myers, if you know that, Billy and the guys down at ProPower built an awesome motor, and we started using one of theirs, and we've had really good luck over the years. They're very customer friendly and do anything for you, so you can't ask for more.
Well, I would ask about your chassis, but your chassis builder is your neighbor, so, yeah, that is a huge guy, right? Yeah.
You don't want to irritate him too much.
Well, speaking of chassis, you've been racing late models for a long time. What's the, I guess for lack of better terms, like the technology change over however long you've been racing? What's that adapt? Like, how do you adapt to that? Because I feel like late models have changed even since
Tremendously.
2012, for example. They changed a ton.
Basically, you just pull more of your hair out of your head, because it used to be all you had to be was in the ballpark and know how to keep yourself calm or how wild you could get. And now it seems like if you're off one click on the shock, or that tire's not quite grooved right, or that starting position you made the wrong choice in the first two laps, it's like the whole thing is shot. It's so close competitively, and so many more things you can adjust. It's just like anything, if you have more options to make a improvement, you also have more options to make a mistake. So really, it's actually probably more frustrating. That's why it's almost worth more when you win now, just because you know how close you have to be to make it happen.
Right. I think all that started to change when the double adjustable reserve gas tank shocks came out, and like you said, one wrong click on the shock and you're out to lunch.
That, and like when they're building these frames, and I don't have a vibrator on to keep the frame flexible.
Oh, okay.
Not that kind of vibrator. But it used to be one car was good, one car was bad. When they all together. Now you're all they're fine tuning how to make everything better, that everybody is getting better.
And chassis builders really don't want you to make much of any adjustments without really talking to them first, I would imagine.
Yeah, they almost, they, not that they want everybody to be the same, but they want to keep it so that you don't get too far out in left field and wonder why it went wrong and start bad mouthing their car,
Right.
obviously. So,
Yeah.
And
And if you're running good, they want to know what you're doing.
that's why you
they
got to
can-
stop talking.
Yeah, that's what you're stop.
Is it kind of one of those deals where if you hit it, you can be like amazingly fast, but if you're wrong just a little bit, you like are just totally out to lunch?
Pretty much. I mean, you can go, if you have, I had a tire one night, I remember that we basically just didn't fire, and that's all was wrong with it. And we went from being a first place car to barely being able to make a 10th place car. One little thing, or if you have a shock, the valve's getting bad, and you don't realize why is the bad for minutes in a row, and you change like 6 things. Really, it was one stupid thing went wrong, So.
Well, same thing with the engines too.
Oh yeah.
I mean, you can, well, why am I lacking power? I mean, I've seen guys put their hands on top of the valve covers and say, I got a rocker arm broken. And you really don't know that when you're on the racetrack. Maybe it's not something terminal, but your engine's getting tired too. It could be something as simple as adjusting your valves, which, if I understand correctly, engine builders don't want you to do without talking to them or bringing it to them. I know that's the way they are around here. But, yeah, the technical aspect of it has got to make it way more challenging. I mean, I haven't been around in the pits with a late model in 14 years, and I'm completely lost on these things now. How do you with all the stuff you've got going on, where do you find time, I mean, obviously to wrench and thrash on this thing, where do you find time to study and read chassis books and like talk to people about setups and all that? Is that when you're in that big 32 road deal?
Pretty much, honestly, I do most of my thinking. I like working late in a tractor because the two-way radio for the farm is missing, and you just turn the radio down real slow and start thinking about things. That's what I do most of my thinking at, just because nobody's bugging you, nothing you got to worry about.
Do you take a notebook and write some ideas down or anything like that, or you get a steel trap up there?
Yeah, I keep most of my head, and then when I get a rainy day or a Sunday, I come in the shop write it down.
Okay.
And then there's other things we've learned over the years, and we've gotten really good about having like a checklist sheet. The car's checklist, the hauler's checklist, tire area, everything has like a checklist to try to make sure we didn't forget something or forget the thing that worked while we need to do it. So.
That's a good idea. It reminds me when we talked to Buzzy. He's like, whenever I'm mowing lawn, that's what I'm thinking about setup or what I did the last time I raced.
He's got lawn too, so he's got plenty of time.
Right.
Yeah, or the deer stand too. That's another spot.
Yeah.
Yeah, but you only get 9 days in that thing, so.
Well, unless you bow hunt.
Right, but yeah.
That's what I do with most of my bow hunting time.
What thing?
Thinking about racing.
Well, that's what I do with most of my time.
Right.
Yeah.
You got a lot of time.
How about you, Mike?
Yeah. I don't really do hunting that much, but yeah, it's those times nobody's around. That's what you gotta do.
Yeah. What was your biggest aha moment? Like Gunnar pointed out, you've got the, one bad clutch or one bad tire that won't fire and you're out to lunch. Did you ever come across anything when you're wrenching and you had that aha moment? You turned a 12th place car into a contender for the win.
Knock it off we've had a couple times that we've won races and did something we didn't understand why it worked for about 3-4 weeks, but nothing really jumps out. There's probably how many nights that happened. Like we had nothing to lose. We started 6 rows, let's try this, and then it worked. And it's like, well, now why did it work? And we actually had one time that we bent a frame, didn't have a clue that it was bent for about 4 weeks, and we won every night. And then finally figured out why the car's working. We bent the frame and moved the fuel cell over here, and all the links got jarred a little bit. Now we need to take the car apart, which kind of sucked because you had to straighten the frame out, but also figure out where they were all sitting so you can put those back that way.
Right.
Just stupid things happen.
So is it fair to say, like, technology advancements with chassis, everyone's becoming closer. You're one click off on a shot. You saw like your 10th place car into the winning car. Is it fair to say that like racing is now more frustrating than what it used to be, 10 years ago?
I think you're getting it's getting frustrating because you get upset when you can't hit the right mark. But I think it's more frustrating that you're seeing more drama into all racing. It used to be that 25 years ago, like at a go-kart track, nobody really argued too much over there to have fun. And I can see more of that now with some of the crew guys have kids that race. And then I go to the racetrack. If we had 10 guys racing, 8 of us knew each other by name, talked in the week, maybe talked to the flagman in the week as buddies. And you don't see that as much anymore, I don't think. I think you see more smaller groups, not as one big group on the whole scale, even though we all know each other.
Do you think that is money related?
In a way I do, but the part I don't understand is a race car, for what you've gained that you can win to what that car cost, has not went the same ratio.
It's been that same ratio since the mid-70s.
Yeah, but you know that if you're going racing for, let's say, $1,000, well, the car is a late model that's competitive. I think the minimum you can put together for would be, let's say, 18, and you could go the sky's the limit, 60, 70,000. So let's wreck that to get $1,000. Does that really make any sense? In the back of your head, because the next day I got to go to work or I got to do this. Do we have time to fix this week? Well, let's back off because we didn't need to wreck this for this right now. But the biggest thing is I think respect has been lost sometimes, and I think that sometimes it's like, well, let's just take and learn how to be buddies afterwards. Not I can cave his door in and get him half sideways to win because this ain't NASCAR, it's not asphalt. It should be more equal. And there's been times we've only raced for, let's say, $500, and I saw the racing look more racing, not so much rugby or revenue.
It's not as big as we really.
Yeah, I remember when you were a kid, you raced for a trophy that cost $5 to make, and nobody hit anybody. There was more. Let's be friends, let's be polite, remember each other tomorrow.
Right.
But that's not just in the racing world. I think the rest of the world has turned a little bit too, and it affects that. So
I agree. That's a good.
Yeah, it's
a
very
good take on
very
it.
good
Words of wisdom right there.
Yeah.
I don't know how many words of wisdom, but okay.
Similarly, you could even see that at the Legendary 100 or the USA Nationals or whatever, when they say that they're going to have one big party,
Yeah.
and then there's a bunch of small groups everywhere. I saw that last weekend, where it's not just one big group family gets together. The only time I guess I really see that is what we're going to see this weekend or at the Red Clay.
Yeah.
That's
That's your opinion.
I'll give you an opinion.
You and my size baby, we all click.
I'm telling you what, as the only fat tire guy on this Built 2 crew, they sure do throw a lot of shade and shit at me.
Hey, but it's all good.
Oh yeah, it's all good. It's all for the betterment. But
It's all good.
I'm just happy there's another late model guy
Hey,
here.
when you were in Oregon, did you not go to watch Dune Buggy?
Yeah, I did.
So.
I was entertained.
Oh,
Question mark?
I like late models. I just race a sprint car. That's all.
And a B-Mod. You're
Hey.
coming over to this side.
Whoa.
I ain't racing ever in my life.
He retired.
Oh, you're
I retired.
retired B-Mod
I
racer.
think an S10 pickup truck has more acceleration than B-Mod. Hey, but please their own.
If there's any class that you could race aside from late model, aside from super late model, what would you pick, do you think? I mean, this is anything from off-road trucks to
Prius,
power boats to,
semis,
yeah.
combines.
I would honestly go to the sprint cars, just because I'd probably hurt myself the first night, but the amount of power, the amount of discipline to make sure, you haven't given too much gas or we're backwards directive. So that discipline yourself, but also the speed and the, I'll call it psychoticness of it.
That's awesome.
Sprint car people, they're not wired right,
Hey,
I'm saying that full well knowing that you three are over there.
Matt Bull says it's just because people don't want to die. That's why they don't race sprint cars.
I mean, yeah, I think you do have to get a bit of a death wish. Although we've seen some pretty wicked accidents with late models too.
Wing or non-wing?
Either one, just, cause just basically the more speed, if we go to we gotta watch drag racing, Brainerd, or I'll go to boat drag race sometime. And I think that'd be cool for the speed to try that.
Yeah.
But I just I think it would not last long enough. I want it to last longer if you did all the work to get the seat. So.
Yeah, that's 40 hours worth of work for 4 seconds of fun and drag races and stuff. And
it's climax for no orgasm.
Pretty much, yeah.
Thank you.
he's 20, his mind is perpetually.
No. That was a great say.
So speaking of speed, have you been faster in a race car or on a snowmobile?
That's a good question. I really don't know. I know I've been in a race car like in Alexandria, a big old horse track, where your helmet starts shaking, you can't see what's going on, just because the speed is shaking your head around. But I know the snowmobiles, we put some really good times on those too, so kind of a horse apiece probably there.
Yeah, I've heard some stories from Craig Turner about your sledding.
Craig's a wild one. I just ride in the back and I watch everybody and make sure I can see the scenery and the little deer and the trees and everything.
Ridden with some
Are
guys
you
that are just
sure?
wild men like that too out on the
Are
trails.
you sure you're in the back all the time?
Oh, that's what me and the guys we ride with. Really, Craig is the wild child. We just try to keep up.
I still don't know if I trust him.
Craig Turner, the wild child.
We got to be there to find out. That's all I can say.
Alright. Well, I have to bring the Polaris to the party, though.
It's all right. Everybody's got to ride in the back sometime.
Yamaha country over here.
But that's where we're at. All
There's
right.
2 of them upstairs in the city.
Got a couple old collectors up there.
Yeah. You guys probably got one from every. What's that one on the left?
The farthest one to the left is a '77 Snowjet.
Oh, boy, that's.
Oh,
And then we got some late '70s, early '80s SRXs that aren't here right now. And then we got a 01 SRX up there and 02 Viper.
so what do you ride when you go trail riding?
We're pretty much in a Sideliners now, so it's a 4-stroke, 4-cylinder motor in them. Or, sorry, 4-stroke, 3-cylinder motor.
Okay.
They're a little bit lighter, it's Arctic Cat chassis, but Yamaha power plant, and they're pretty good sleds.
Yamaha really quit making snowmobiles now, I believe in 2019.
Well, they make a few, but not really a sporty edition anymore.
Oh, okay.
Yamaha.
Yeah. I'm a skidoo guy myself, so we don't have that problem. Yeah, go stand in the corner.
Skid out.
Try again. There
Just skid out.
you go. Just skid out. That's perfect.
Before this question leaves my mind,
What happens a lot.
Is it a pretty small area? Or
You put the 4 of us together, you have like 2 brain cells.
where did the number 68 originally come from?
I asked, obviously that was my dad's number, but I asked him a couple times and he can't give me a straight answer.
Really?
I don't, you know, that wasn't the first like go-kart he had. That wasn't the first year he raced a car. I really think he probably just picked a number he liked. I'm not sure. Because he can never answer a straight answer.
But do you think he was going to be racing or not racing for like 68 years or something when he started?
That could be.
You know, I mean, how is Ron doing?
Pretty good.
Yeah.
He's actually out getting a boat ready for one of his buddies to go duck hunt with, and he's gonna be back in a little while. We're gonna fire a little bit tonight. We get something on this weekend, you know.
You ever say, hey, Dad, drop in?
You don't have to say it too loud, he'll get in there.
I'm sure.
But he hasn't raced a car for I think 13's the year that he raced a car in a race. But he's driven 1.2 testing. You know, he still likes it. The thing is trying to get two of them ready for Friday or Saturday nights for real camp.
Yeah.
So.
Well, you see that with a lot of father and son teams. The dad will just quietly step back and then,
I mean, if we had time that we could go race two cars every night, we probably still would. It's just that the time to get everything ready and then on the night, we need to do that. Just runs out of time.
doesn't matter how much farming you do, how much land you rent, we still only get 24 hours in a day. It still takes somebody to go do that. And,
Oh yeah.
The stacker that's in front of us here, how long do you have that? I mean, you're not traveling too much right now, but still, you know, increase your comforts, man.
Yeah, I mean, we built it in 07. We had a hauler right before that for a year, and we just basically got sick of a pickup, stopped and go to the bathroom for all everybody's packed in there, and you're packed 4 in the seat or whatever it was. And this way we don't have to stop for anything. A little bit nicer ride, you don't have to pay the hotel rooms anymore. Really would race now, we can honestly get by without it, but it's kind of done to sell if you have it because it is nice for the times we do go distance. So.
Well, that, on top of that, I mean, if you wanted to sell it, you could get a pretty penny for it right now.
Oh yeah, we've been offering good money. The problem is what we would replace it with, we don't know. So.
Yeah, that's the biggest issue with these things. Once you have them, it's hard to get rid of them for multiple reasons because you used to have it.
Oh yeah.
It's not costing anything sitting here, so.
No, and it's been a good truck. We actually bought the truck actually was in a movie, and the guy who owned it didn't, he had something small mechanical. He got ticked off, he wanted to sell it, so that worked out nice. And the trailer came from Jerry Deskey. They went to a, what do you call it, toter home, what Jake's using now, so we ended up, so we ended up buying the trailer from him. We had somebody build the camper on it.
Yeah, that's a really nice setup, and you'd be able to have it and be able to keep it in here. Yeah, perfect.
Ronnie's got her stocked pretty good with parts too.
You never know what could happen.
Oh man. I borrowed some a tap and die set from him to help Jesse on his card. We had a bolt that went bad. Ron's like, you gotta remember, I'm just a damn farmer. I don't know how all this shit works, but I think I got it. He said, here's the box, good luck. Yep.
But you know that farming applies, there's multiple times you do things at a racetrack and it's like, why did you do that? And you started thinking of like, well, it worked, even though it's still on the fruit side, they got you through the night. So.
Right, yeah.
That's a lot of those old school guys that are like that.
Oh yeah.
They have the junkyard mentality, as I've often called it in the past, where you think, I would never do that way, but it cost me 60% less, so I'm gonna just go with it for now.
Yeah.
It's like bending the frame and getting faster.
Yeah. Rather be lucky than good any day.
So the next new one, you're just gonna run into it with a forklift and see if it works? Or?
Well, the worst part is when we did that, like I said, we knew what we did, and it really all it did is move the fuel cell over in the forklift. That's all it did to the thing. But it just became a totally different car, so then you started, well, maybe we should try this next time.
Yeah.
So.
Heck yeah. So what's the plan for next year?
We actually have a new car getting built right now. And then this car here is a 15 or a 16, so we're gonna keep this one too. And it's just, the idea is we haven't raced that much in the spring anymore because of the farm. Right. So the thought is have a bolt ready to go. We can race about 2 or 3 nights before we get the crop all planted. And then there's times that we don't race for 2 weeks, so you could easily get 2 of them ready and lessen the workload a little bit.
Right.
So.
Okay.
Because this car's a good car and there's nothing wrong with it. We just need to put a new body on it, obviously. So
When you mentioned speeding tickets, I was kind of thinking about this toter home, honestly, trying to make it to Menominee in the springtime.
there's been a few times that Holler goes over the speed limit. A couple times.
That thing will pull in after draw cut off and whip in there. The doors, I mean, the car's about coming out of it by the time you get through the pit gates.
Well, if you're early, you get bored. You gotta get back in.
Are you usually suited up when you pull in the pits, or?
Not too
Springtime?
much, but there's been time that there's been times that I'll have the guys will get the car out while I just get from the driver's seat to the back, pull the suit back on. So it's happened. Actually, the most, when you say about speeding tickets, there was one time I got a speeding ticket on like a Thursday, and I was a little upset. And then we were late on Friday. I got a speeding ticket like between the racetrack and Highway 25 or Stout Road. So everybody says me get the speeding ticket while somebody went in the draw for me. And it's like, this was just being a great week and we won the feature that night. It's like, well, okay, well, we won the feature, we also lost a couple $100 speeding tickets, so we equal it out here.
Looking at this hauler in here, how do you even get this thing in here? Like I see a door, but where?
Well, basically, we come in the main door, and then that in the back, that's actually a sliding door.
Oh.
So you can drive through, and then you got a back-to-back straight again. So it's kind of tight, but the shop was never intended to have the hauler in here until we built the hauler.
Just to give our listeners a little bit of perspective here, looking at it, the door is probably about 20 feet wide.
Yeah, about that.
And the shop is, the usable space is probably 35 to 30 feet wide.
Yeah, it's about 35, 40.
And
Yeah.
a toter home is 10 feet wide. And there's like, how do you,
The toter home is all the way to the other side
Yeah.
of the door, not even lined up.
yeah, it's not lined up with the door at all. And the door that he's talking about pulling out of or nosing out of is like,
Do the mirrors clear?
Oh yeah.
No, so
She's a little tight fit, but
oh, okay.
That's a good question. I didn't even notice that till you
I
brought
was
it up.
trying to figure that out honestly for like 20 minutes here. I'm like looking at this thing. I'm like, how does this even get in here?
I didn't want to ask the question because I thought it'd be a stupid one. Like, duh, comes in from the ceiling. Yeah.
Well, when we built the shop, we just had a trailer and a pickup. So we built the truck. The guy said, I can chop it and make it lower, so that we shaved the top off a little bit to make it fit the shop. Just because it's so much nicer to have inside to work out of.
Yeah. I think I need to be here when you pull this thing out done. Or drive in, just to see how, because that's,
Send me video evidence.
yeah, that's talent. I don't care who we are.
Well, the good part is we've only had one night we came home half asleep and tapped the front door of the truck, so we're doing pretty good so far.
Was it literally just a tap too, or is
See,
that maybe
there's
10?
2 marks by those tires over
Yep,
there. That's
yep.
license plate bolts.
Yeah.
That's all it is to it.
So,
Coming in hot.
how long does it take to get this thing basically parallel parked? And
No, just a couple minutes. Because then we go out that door, there's another 40 feet before you go outside.
oh, okay.
And then just back it.
Oh.
Yeah, all right. I didn't realize how much.
Now that he's saying it kind of
Makes
feels
sense.
like
Yeah.
But
yeah.
Ideally, we were going to take the overhead door and make it to right behind the hauler. But the problem was we had to change the rafters to do it, so we never did it.
yeah,
And then you can drive the whole thing straight in all the time.
that's pretty impressive.
But, yeah, I still want to see a video or something because that's.
Yeah, we should
Yeah.
have some 2-minute questions. Mikey's got some ripping to do. Ben, fire it up.
Gunner, you got to start up yours.
Oh boy.
We're gonna ask this one again
What?
after episode 70. We can't ask this one anymore.
Oh.
We gotta change
I wasn't even gonna think of it. But,
Mine in the gutter again?
No.
well, this is kind of our famous question on the
So,
podcast.
2-minute questions. We ask you a question. If it needs to be explained, explain it.
Yeah.
Otherwise, answer it as fast as you can, and we'll move to the next one.
Okay.
All right. How many chickens does it take to kill an elephant?
No idea.
We need an answer.
Yeah, you have to.
2. One to distract it, one to peck it to death.
Okay.
All right.
First car you're gonna burn out in.
Actually be 89 Camaro.
Ooh. Oh wow. That's actually pretty. So, what's the biggest field that you have? Biggest acreage of field.
Biggest field we have, all in one piece, no road in between, is like 575.
Holy shit.
Wow.
That's a large piece.
Yeah.
That's a lot of kern.
Damn near. Corn. Why do you like corn? Because it's corn. How do you hang toilet paper? Over or under?
I have never thought about it. I guess I go over.
Yeah, that boy.
There you go.
So glad you answered that way.
This is a terrible question to ask on this farm,
not
probably,
really.
but green or red tractors?
Mainly green.
Wait, mainly.
We've had a couple of red ones over the years for small jobs, but if you want a big job, get green ones.
Ah, there it is. Full green.
Why are you looking at me?
Because you're next.
You're next.
Next.
And he's stumbling.
Well, okay. How many speed tickets do you have?
We lost track. It's not a good idea.
How many times have you been late to Red Cedar Speedway?
Again, we've lost track. Me and time are not a good friend.
What's the exact mileage from here to Red Cedar?
I've never really done that. I would say we're probably 10 miles, something like that.
Okay.
Does pineapple belong on pizzas?
No.
Now we're getting into food.
If you weren't farming, weren't racing, weren't doing anything you're doing now, where do you see yourself? Like what job, I guess, would you be doing?
To enjoy it or make a lot of money?
I guess either one.
Well, pick one. Two-way street here.
Well, what would you be? I'm just asking what you would be doing if you weren't doing what you're doing now.
What job and what hobby?
If I was gonna do a job to make money, I think I'd probably maybe enjoy being like you can't make a whole career out of it, but I like driving, so something like an Uber or taxi driver, money, limo service. Let's go limo service.
Oh,
If I wanted
didn't
it,
see that.
if I wanted it to really make money, run a go-kart track. I'd say a hobby, snowmobiling I love. That's number one thing. So I'd probably have to stick with that all the time.
Where's the coolest place you've been in snowmobiling?
We love to go to Michigan just because the trails are wider. You can get more speed and probably less danger than we have around here.
Favorite fast food chain?
I go Arby's.
Yes, fantastic option. Dollar sliders, man.
Both like to challenge your stomach to fights or what?
That's all fast food, man. Name fast food it doesn't get.
And the horseradish sauce, burn your nostrils with. That's pretty good
Yep,
stuff.
exactly.
Is a hot dog on a bun? Is that considered a sandwich?
Depends what time of the night it is and what you've been doing before that.
Yeah, that does make sense.
Yeah. Kind of a mind-blowing situation right there in and of itself. One more food question out of me. Is cereal soup?
I would say no.
No?
No.
No.
Alright. Vacation. Where are you going?
Usually I take a vacation in the winter time, and if I'm not on a snowmobile, we'll go. I like going to a place like tropical, get the water slides going, a couple of mystery drinks as well.
Mystery drinks.
Like all inclusive, or are you buying?
Well, and usually a podcast show will buy you one.
I brought a t-shirt. I mean, come on.
I'll mix you a drink this weekend or next weekend. How about that? Be a nice mystery one. I'll go into the depths of Nesbitt's motorhome and we'll see what happens. There you go.
Favorite alcoholic beverage?
Captain Coke.
Ooh.
If you weren't number 68, what number would you be?
Never thought about that, I guess.
Probably the next one.
I'd say I'd be 69.
Do you think aliens exist?
Depends what you're doing that night between drinking and
So I tell you what, I'll ask you Friday night about 1 o'clock in the morning if aliens exist. I'll give you a different answer right now.
Yeah, wait till Saturday night about 1 o'clock in the morning.
Even better.
If you could build a racetrack, that means track, concession, stands, location, all that. build it for us. So like Mississippi Thunder's the track, Cedar Lake Concessions, something like that. Bristol Stadium, something.
So let's mix them up a little bit. Let's take Superior's track prep and width, but throw Cedar Lake's bank to it, because really that's when the place you lives in Superior is the bank you get too high. As far as PR work, right now what I've seen, Superior and Ashland got pretty good PR people going on. And location, that's a tough one. You want to be out of town, but you want to be close to a big city or the main road.
Right.
So I'm not sure where I would pick that, to be honest.
And then concession stand is most important.
Concession stand, I would go to, I don't know if you guys remember when Jerry Weigel was up and over at Unity, at Bill Grill out back. I love grilled burgers and brats. That was like my king right there.
I was there a lot.
He had a grill probably
It was-
20
it
foot
was-
square.
Yeah, it was the length of this table.
Do we still have that at Eagle Valley?
Now he's selling smaller. But you got meat from Smith Brothers Meats.
Yeah.
And as one of the employees there, they always wanted us to use drink tickets and food tickets. And they'd hand them to me and I just crump them up and throw them away. It's like, I'm not gonna abuse the privilege, but the food at that track, you're right, that was really good stuff. Burgers and chicken breasts and stuff, that was awesome.
Hey, before she leaves, I was supposed to ask you this question. Did Ronnie put the wrong kid in the car?
You know, Tara actually tried driving a late model once. She did a decent job. But we can't afford to fix that many pieces in a week, so that's why we got it all the
So you said you would maybe jump in a sprint car. There's an arrive and drive in October.
Yep. 8th.
at Cedar
October
Lake.
8th.
October 8th.
Will we see you there at all?
If we're out in the fields, you might. I have a crew guy that's been helping me quite a bit last couple of years now, getting rolling, and he's talking about going up there. I think that'd be fun. But if we're in the field, that trumps it. So
Is Vogel
I
gonna be there?
Heard the 10Z's cars.
He blew it up. Oh yeah, that's right.
I'll be there in 15-inch seats, so like I'm limited on the people.
There'll be a car there you can drive.
There is a car there, yes.
I do think it'd be fun though. Just the difference in the, like I say, you watch the good ones. It's not all about throttle. You got to calm yourself down to keep that car in one piece and on the track where you want it to be. There's a lot of discipline, you know.
Momentum.
What would your first choice of a non-normal pet be? So no cats, no dogs, no goldfish, no ferrets, no snakes or spiders.
Go.
You got me. I'd probably say a chimpanzee, monkey kind of thing.
Yeah.
It's kind of like
Combine. I mean, teach them how to use wrenches.
yeah.
That'd be a great idea in the field, honestly.
There's a thing on TikTok where it's farmers, factory farmers or cash croppers that they raise capuchin monkeys. And they take them out in the fields with them in little packing places and stuff.
I knew you would watch that TikTok.
Well, because it's awesome. Because I'm with Mike on that. It's monkeys. They're freaking cool.
Will we ever find you on TikTok?
I don't think so. I don't know how to run the phone that good.
On the phone. Alright, you guys got some more?
I'm out.
Alright. Final question. What are you built to do?
As far as phrase the question a little better.
So, are you built to race? Are you built to farm? What is your, like people say, built to party, built to work?
When they asked me this question, when I was a guest, it was built to entertain. We've had those type of answers. We've had built to work. We've had
Built to party, built to fuck, built to,
built to
So-
what Chaz said.
yeah.
Yeah.
When you just to get a visual here, so either way, when you say entertain, are you saying like talk to people or dance for bachelor parties? Or what are you doing with your
I'm nodding my head up and down. Yep.
All of them.
Yep, all of them.
Truffle shuffle, come on.
Oh, God.
I would say the farming thing, and then if I couldn't snowmobile, I'd probably go nuts. It would really just drive me up the wall. So, and obviously chase girls. We gotta do that.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
Alright. Well,
Mike, you went real quick.
Yeah, but
you want- Edit that out.
You want to thank some sponsors?
Thanks, Ed.
The list is pretty long. I gotta thank them all, but I don't know where I would even start at as far as which. I don't want to put them in an order and get anybody upset. I know that, there's always ones you want to talk to out there, but I'd say that I know the newest one that took a little edge to get to go was Casey Hawk Performance. He's trying to get his feet wet right now, and he's doing a really good job. So.
Well, thank you, sponsors.
Yeah.
But
All right.
I mean, they're all important. It's
Of
just
course.
that, the car's got 20 some. I don't know where to start at.
So
Well,
you ready to go for the weekend?
No, we'll be working tonight and part of tomorrow. Yeah.
Sounds good. Well, Mike, we appreciate it. Hope to be back to talk to your dad. Maybe get your mom in here a little bit with him and go from there. But
Well, thanks for having me. Appreciate it.
you bet. All right. Mike Prochnow on the Built In Media Podcast.
Now, as always, that was anticlimactic. You got something to say? Hit up the Built 2 Media Podcast and let them know. Like, comment, and share on TikTok, Instagram, Facebook, YouTube, and at built2media.com. Thank you, Built 2 Media sponsors. QualityFreightRate.com, Liquid Nitro Energy Drink, SKD, Scott King Designs, Thunderhill Speedway, Kick-Ass Beef Jerky, Jiggy Signs, Harvest Racing, K1 Race Gear by Ryan Bowers, Spot On, Point of Sale System Credit Card Processing, and PrettyPolishJunkie.com. Get your Built 2 Media podcast fix. Get everything you want and get everything you need at built2media.com. Except for the t-shirts. Figure it out. Be back next week for another exciting Built 2 Media podcast.
The Built 2 Media Podcast.